Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with attorney Brian D. Lerner. We have lots of different videos on different subjects of estate planning. And on this particular one, I'd like to talk a little bit about going to court. It's and trust administration. Um, Nobody really wants to do that, but sometimes it's necessary and sometimes it is required. Now, everybody hears that when you go to probate, when you have to probate something, sure, you have to go to probate court and probate has to be open, and that takes a long time. And, that's for people who don't have living trust. But then on some occasion, even when people have living trust, it does require going to court. So let me give you an example. Let's say that both the settlers, let's say it was a married couple, husband and wife, who made the living trust. And first the husband dies, and let's say 5 years later the wife dies, and now the new trustee or new co-trustees, pursuant to the living trust, are putting in motion what needs to be done, and they're going through what's called trust administration. So basically, after both settlers have died, the trust administration begins, and that's when all the accounts are transferred, the property is transferred. You look at the deeds and prepare new deeds of what property goes to whom, divided in accordance with the wishes of the original trustors and so forth. But sometimes what happens is let's say there's two trustees. Sometimes the co-trustees don't get along, and sometimes one or both of the co-trustees are also beneficiaries of the living trust, and sometimes one or the other of the co-trustees gets extremely greedy and starts violating the fiduciary duties that they have as a co-trustee, starts violating what needs to be given to whom, starts lying about different things and different items, starts hiding assets, starts stealing from the estate. All kinds of stuff can happen. And so, in order to stop the pillaging of the estate, sometimes the other co-trustee has to go to court in order to make various motions to get the co-trustee who's pillaging from the estate removed as a co-trustee. And that would be required, really, because if the innocent co-trustee just lets the other one pillage the estate, then they also become liable. So it is necessary and required that they take care of it in order to try to remove that co-trustee. And for the most part, that's done through a court order. It's also done through the probate court, but unlike with a will where probate begins, while the court has jurisdiction over trust matters, it has to be invoked. Okay, which means you have to file the proper motions and so forth. Another issue is, let's say the trustees aren't pillaging, one's not pillaging the estate, but they can't decide on the property or their division. Or let's say there's ambiguities in the trust itself that they can't, one has one interpretation, another has another interpretation, and, voila, there's no movement in the trust administration. It's at a dead standstill. Well, motions can be brought to court to help divide the property, to clear ambiguities, to move the trust administration forward. And this would be required and helpful in situations such as these. So sometimes you don't have to just rely on the co-trustees getting along in order to make it happen. Or, for example, even if you have other beneficiaries that are fighting over who gets what in the trust administration, and they're saying the trust meant this or the trust meant that, or they're claiming that there was undue influence and, settler didn't have the capacity to make the various statements, that also can be brought to court. So You don't have to sit in a whirlwind of wondering what to do and how's it going to get done or will it ever get done. Sometimes it is a benefit to go to court and have an impartial judge hear the motions and to rule so that, for example, beneficiaries or co-trustees get, greedy and start doing things that the settlor did not want, or if there's just plain ambiguities that can't go forward, the judge will resolve the issue and then you can move forward. And the having the court's jurisdiction and the ability to invoke it many times will get the other side moving forward, because sometimes they just try to create a big problem in the hopes you'll cave in, but you don't have to. Okay, so if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and if you want a free consultation, give my office a call. We're in Long Beach and Los Angeles. I'll be happy to let you know how I can assist you with the trust administration and what that would take. Okay, more on the coming videos.